My name is Isabella, a 56-year-old widow who lives a simple, quiet life. A few weeks ago, something happened that completely shook my family. My brother Daniel, whom I hadn't seen in almost 10 years, came to visit me unexpectedly. He hugged me tightly and said, "You were the only person who ever believed in me. I want to thank you for that." He then handed me a small, elegant velvet box. When I opened it, I was shocked it was a beautiful diamond ring. Real, shining, and clearly very expensive. My eyes filled with tears. I said, "Daniel, I can't accept this." But he smiled and replied, "You always gave me your support when no one else did. Please keep it." For a moment, I felt pure happiness. But that peace didn't last long. Later that evening, my son Adrian came to visit with his wife, Camila. The moment Camila noticed the ring on my finger, her expression changed completely. She whispered something to Adrian, and his face turned serious. "Mom," he said sharply, "why are you wearing that ring? That looks exactly like the ring I bought for Camila. Did you take it from her?" I was stunned. My heart started racing. I looked at them in disbelief and said, "What are you talking about? This was a gift from your Uncle Daniel." But Adrian didn't believe me, and that was the beginning of the storm. Adrian's tone grew colder. "Mom, please stop lying. This ring belonged to Camila. She lost it last year, and now you suddenly have the same one. How is that possible?" Camila crossed her arms and added dramatically, "Adrian, maybe we should leave. This is embarrassing." Her eyes were filled with fake pain, as if I had done something unforgivable. My hands trembled. "Why would I ever steal from you? Daniel gave me this ring today. Call him if you don't believe me." But Adrian didn't listen. He shook his head and said, "Mom, Uncle Daniel hasn't contacted anyone in the family for years. Stop using his name to justify your actions." Those words hit me like a slap. I felt small, humiliated, and deeply hurt, but quiet. That night, I sat alone holding the ring tightly, wondering if I should return it or hide it forever. The next morning, things got worse. My sister-in-law Vanessa called me. "Isabella, why are people saying you stole Camila's ring? This is spreading in the family WhatsApp group." I froze. My private humiliation had become public gossip. Later that afternoon, without warning, Adrian and Camila entered my house again, but this time with a jeweler. Adrian said, "We're going to verify if this ring is real or if you bought a fake to cover your lie." The jeweler examined the diamond closely with his magnifying glasses. The room was silent. Our heart was pounding. Finally, the jeweler looked up and said, "This is not just real, it's extremely rare. And there's a custom engraving inside. For Isabella, thank you for believing in me." Adrian's face turned pale, and the truth began to surface. Adrian stood frozen, his confidence shattering in seconds. Camila swallowed hard, her fake concern replaced by panic. How is that possible?" she whispered. The jeweler continued, "This engraving is professionally done. And this diamond is from a rare collection, the kind only a private owner or a collector would have. Whoever gifted this truly cared." Silence filled the room. Just then, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and there stood Daniel. My brother, tired from travel but smiling warmly. Adrian's jaw dropped. "Uncle Daniel." He stuttered, shocked. Daniel walked in and said calmly, "I heard there was a misunderstanding about a ring. Thought I should clear it up myself." Camila stepped back, speechless. Daniel looked directly at Adrian. "I gave this ring to your mother, not because she asked, but because she's the only one who helped me when I lost everything. While everyone else doubted me, she believed in me." Adrian's eyes widened. "But Mom never told us." "I didn't need to," I said quietly. "Kindness doesn't need attention." Daniel continued, "This ring belonged to our grandmother. I restored it, added the engraving, and gave it to her today. Not everything valuable is bought or stolen. Some things are earned." Camila's face turned red with embarrassment. Adrian's voice cracked with guilt. "Mom, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have doubted you. Tears filled my eyes, but I stayed strong. Sorry doesn't erase the pain, Adrian. Trust, once broken, isn't easy to repair. Daniel placed a hand on my shoulder. Forgive when you're ready. But don't let anyone make you feel small for being honest and kind. Adrian stood quietly, the weight of guilt pressing on his shoulders. Camila avoided eye contact, her earlier arrogance completely gone. The house felt different, now heavy with truth, but lighter than lies. I gently placed the ring back in its box. This ring was never about money or status. It was about love, sacrifice, and trust. And today, all three were tested. Adrian hesitated before speaking. Mom, I don't deserve forgiveness. But I promise I'll earn it. Camila glanced at me timidly. Senora, I hope one day you can forgive me too. Daniel stepped forward. Forgiveness is not a gift, it's a process. What matters is that you change, not just apologize. I nodded. Words are easy, actions, they're what count. Days passed. Adrian started helping around the house, spending more time with family instead of doubting them. He even returned the expensive bracelet he bought for Camila, saying he wanted to rebuild trust before anything else. Camila eventually left quietly, realizing love built on greed never lasts. One evening, Adrian sat beside me on the porch. Mom, I used to think money and luxury define success, but you taught me dignity is worth more. I smiled softly. True wealth isn't in banks or jewelry. It's in respect, loyalty, and family. He took my hand. Thank you for still being my mother even when I didn't act like a son. Tears welled in my eyes. And thank you for finally becoming one. Daniel raised a toast later that night to truth, to family, and to a woman who never stopped believing in both. And for the first time in a long while, we felt like a family again. Sometimes life doesn't test us with storms. It tests us with people, with betrayal, pride, and regret. But remember this, respect isn't inherited. Love isn't guaranteed, and trust is not something you demand. It's something you earn through honesty, humility, and actions. Adrian lost everything the moment he chose ego over gratitude. But he found everything back the day he chose to change. So if someone disrespects your kindness, don't change your heart. Just change the place where you keep them in your life. Because true wealth isn't measured in gold rings or bank accounts. It's measured in loyalty, forgiveness, and the family that stands with you, even after the truth hurts.